Starting in 5, 4. Boom. I think we are live, at least according to the little timer in my corner. It says we're live.
Hot diggity.
Let's go. Just the
Let's
two
go.
of us tonight, man.
No, dude.
It's like people are preparing for something. I don't know what it would be for. But
And people
it's like they have things to do, or like events
obligations and stuff.
Yeah, dude.
Whatever.
I'm over here no lifing, I haven't slept in 4 days and I'm doing great, so it's all good.
It's all good. Again, congrats on the kid. I don't know if that's public knowledge, but
Yeah,
I'll
well,
just say
yeah.
it.
No, it's on
Whatever.
the old Facebook now, so you can call it
There
the
we
old
go.
Facebook official dealio. But yeah, that's it's been an amazing experience, and I'm super happy with everything. It's been really cool. It definitely changes your perspective on things, like everyone says. It does instantly. Yeah. You look at life totally different. So
I bet. Yeah.
but I'm excited to see how this journey goes. But because of that, I missed all of last week. We were in the hospital, and since then lots of things have come out, and I haven't been able to talk on any of it. So obviously, you guys did your whole breakdown of the driver's list last episode. Had some spicy takes, and don't worry, there's going to be plenty more of those this episode. But I wanted to quick call out FD because the episode before this list came out, I was mad. I was annoyed because someone was like, "Oh, they have a driver cap of like 40 drivers and they can't go over that or whatever." And I was like, when in the world have we ever had 40 drivers actually running and competing?
Yeah.
We've never had 40 drivers in like
It's been
forever.
I looked it up. It was 2015, like when
Last time
it was like 50 or 48 or something like that in 2015.
And it's like, looking at the drivers list, we have 34 drivers with 33 of them actually driving the whole series, which is extremely high likelihood that we're going to, no matter what, have bye runs in the 32. Like, why are we even doing the seating bracket now? It's like, it's so irritating to me because it's like, you want to run one of the best series in the world and you can only get 34 drivers. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know. I also don't like. I've heard Ryan Sage talk about it. Been in the room when he's talked about the seating bracket, and it's like for the show and like media, I get that totally, but it just irks me that like one of his big takes is that more people watch seating bracket compared to what do you call it, compared to qualifying, and that's just not true. If you look at past live streams, more people would watch the qualifying even after, because someone throws a 100-point run or like a 90 something. It's really impressive and people go watch it back.
Listen,
and also thank you so much Njuku Jesse for the $20
shout out Jesse,
beer money.
I miss you. hopefully we get to see you out here this year, Jesse. But thank you for the beer money as always. And guys, go make sure to help out Njuku. They're awesome people out there. But I'm trying to even remember what I was upset about because Jesse made me happy. I was all mad when I came in here. I was like, come on. But yeah, like, listen, FD doesn't want, so you remember Long Beach, right? Long Beach, the qualifying bracket was fire. We had Connor Shanahan in it. We had a bunch of great drivers, great battles. If it was like that every time, it would get more views than qualifying.
Yeah, and that's what everyone argued too. Like, right. Long Beach was so great. It's like, yeah, because Connor and Adam didn't finish well. Connor didn't do it the year prior.
Exactly.
And
nor did Adam. You know what I'm saying? Like, but the problem is every event afterwards, either drivers were sitting out or no one like 5 drivers don't show up to the event. And it's like, okay, so now we have a battle of 4 drivers for the battle of top 16. It's like, okay, no one's going to watch that. Yeah. There's a reason no one watches the event in Long Beach that they do after Formula D Long Beach. I can't remember what it's called. The weekend after they do that competition.
Oh, Super Drift, Motegi Super
Yeah,
Drift.
because there's only like
Yeah,
what, 8 drivers
people.
that drive that.
Yep.
You know, like no offense to I like in the guys that go do it, they love it. Like it's great experience for them. Like how often are you going to get to drive Long Beach? You know, like that's cool. And I
Yeah.
know the stands are packed and stuff, but like as far as like an actual outside perspective, it's like it's 8 drivers. Like okay, cool.
Yeah.
But like one of these, like I'm going to be surprised if we have a full 32. I'm going to be
Yeah.
perfectly honest. I would say we have a more likely chance to have a buy run every round than we would even have a full top 32 for 4 of the rounds. Because the likelihood that more than 2 people break during the day or even in qualifying or the seating bracket is extremely high. So all of this
Yeah.
crap about having buy runs last year, we're not going to have that because we won't even have 32 drivers that qualify.
Yeah, I agree. And I was gonna say maybe not Long Beach, but it's Long Beach. It's like, much as I hate to say it, someone's gonna be in the wall and they're not
Yeah.
gonna fix the car.
Yeah, or someone's gonna blow
Yeah.
an engine. They're testing out their new engines. They didn't get a chance to go testing. It's a brand new
They're
engine. It
not
blows
broken
up.
in. Yeah.
Happens all the time, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? It's so frustrating because like I hear like arguments against wild cards or like, oh yeah, it's just one person coming in to mess up the points. Well, are you trying
Yeah.
to grow the show or not? Because
Yeah.
you want to bring in people that have attention but or have big followings, but newsflash, people that have large followings usually are extremely busy and don't have time to run a whole series.
No, yeah.
So it's like, okay, so you just tell those people no, and yeah, we don't want to grow the series. We
Yeah.
actually prefer to have buy runs. That's great. It's great for the show. Like come on. You know,
Yeah.
like seriously? 30,
Yeah.
34 drivers.
If anyone watching, go support Jacob Gittins and go join his Discord, the Outer Zone Discord. There's some people asking Andy Luck, because Andy Luck's in there, about wanting wild cards, and he said no, it's stupid because one person shows up, and while all these other teams spend so much money to show up and like do the whole season, but like still, I think it would be good to like grow the sport 100%, like what you said, Nate. Like, for example, if like Long Beach, we had some wild cards. There's plenty of drivers in California. Like one dude I could think of, Tanner Faust. I bet he can make some room on the schedule to come out to Long Beach, and it's Tanner freaking Faust. Like, who doesn't want to see him drive? And I think that'd be
Technically, he
good.
could because he's in that old champions clause thing.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, you get
Just,
what I'm saying. Like, why not a
yeah,
JTP? JTP's over there. He's over in Utah. You could make the
yeah,
jump
get
over.
him
You know,
out there.
like
Yeah,
like somebody. You know, like because listen, I'm excited for this season. It's a stacked lineup,
yeah,
but something really concerning that is we had 11 drivers leave. I think what did we bring in 5 new drivers this year?
yep,
So we lost what 6 drivers? We lost we lost 11 drivers.
yeah. Lost
That's a
10 or 11.
huge concern. And
Yeah,
I think FD should take notice to the fact that either A, somebody's not marketing right, or B, someone doesn't see value in the series to help get these drivers. Like, guys, we only have 4 tire brands.
yeah.
And they don't
That
even have
also
tires for
true.
all the drivers. And it's like,
Yeah.
what are we doing here?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, when it comes to drivers leading, Mike Power, Joao, they're doing pro spec.
Correct. And
Dean
they
Carney
were
showed up to
forced
Long
to.
Beach and then just hasn't didn't iterate on anything,
Right.
refused to elaborate on anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's still, 1, 2,
If
3,
you're
4, 5, 6,
sending
7
drivers
people.
down, but you don't even have a full pro field, it's like,
Yeah,
what are you doing?
exactly. In my opinion, I feel like, I love FD, love what they
Right.
do, but I do wish they somewhat, I don't know. I don't have the sheets in front of me, like what they're spending money on or
Yeah.
how they're outreaching to companies or what they're saying during meetings or whatever. But what I've heard directly during things that I've been involved with, it just seems like there needs to be more involvement with helping the drivers like grow their programs, reaching out to people. Because you see Vaughn and RTR, they're killing it. They're
Yeah.
great at what they do to reach out. Like, I bet I know their whole program is covered and some, right? For salary and all that stuff. But it's like, it's just the other people and like people overseas to bring them over. Like Luke Fink's not doing it because he couldn't get everything together. I don't know. I just feel like there needs to be more investment into the sport, into the live stream, into the media stuff. I don't know what the top line is for FD or what they're paying like the FD staff directly. If it's a lot, if it's a little, I honestly don't know. But I don't know. Something just the past few years since the pandemic went through, since like 21, FD has felt a little weird since 2019, in my perspective.
Yeah.
Like things have changed a bit. Still great driving, still good memories, but
That's the thing is the
something just seems a
driving is
little
top
off.
notch, and it's
Yeah.
frustrating because we want to share it out with the world. We want this series to continually be growing and having the best drivers in the world. But the thing is if you're not letting these drivers drive the series, when obviously financially driving it from an overseas perspective, all 8 rounds is near impossible for nearly every driver, except for like the very few. And it's like, okay, that's cool, but like, what if we were able to bring in some people to help grow? And the other thing
Yeah.
is too, like, when you go to a pro round and you have what is going to be 33 drivers most of the time, you literally, okay, let's say everyone happens to qualify, or everyone has a working car, which by the way is most likely not going to happen. It is,
Yeah.
I would say, more often than not that we have at least one, if not two cars broken by the end of the event that aren't fixable. And it's like,
Yeah.
you go to a pro round, let's say 3 or 4 cars are broken. Okay, so now
Yeah.
we have 3 buy runs in top 32. Like, who wants to watch that? You
Yeah.
paid
And
good money to be at this event. And like
there's no qualifying. Like you don't earn to be in that, top 3 or whatever. It's from the previous round, which I don't agree with, because what does your last round's performance? I guess they're really taking the saying "you're only as good as your last race" to heart, you know.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah,
Phil's got a good point. He's like, how much does the economy influence this? Currently, the car sales market isn't doing well. So,
yeah,
just to give you some perspective, we talked to actually Taylor Hall on this. One of the guys not coming back this year, and it's largely because of a financial reason. And he said the companies he works with a lot of their products are manufactured out of China. Well, with the current tariff situation right now, companies are scared shitless right now about the tariff situation, especially if their products are made in overseas, like place like China, because they feel
yeah.
like,
Even across the border in Canada,
yeah. So
you know.
it's like they are not going to be putting money out for sponsorships when they don't know what the cost of their product's going to be for the year. Like they're not going to take the risk on basically having fun spending some money when they don't even know how their business is going to make money. And that is another huge factor that I think has killed so many drivers this off season, is the fact that just how the economy has been shifting, and
Yeah,
and so when you get that combination plus the fact that FD is unwilling to work with drivers that don't have a full season schedule availability, which by the way, newsflash, most people don't have that availability to do that. Even like tons of good drivers, but they don't have the availability to go run 8 rounds because that's a full-time job basically.
yeah,
Unless you're doing a ride and drive, if you're running your own program, man, that's a full-time job on
yeah,
top of your probably full-time day job. It's like, it's frustrating. But,
yeah,
I just wanted to quick rant about that because
yeah,
that was what was on my mind when this list came out, and I was underwhelmed. I was like, "Oh, that's it?" Like no, we're getting what, one overseas guy, 2 overseas guys, and then the 3 prospect guys.
yeah.
That's all we got this year.
It's true. Yeah, it's true. I want to touch a little more on the sponsor side. I'll have a little spiel real quick.
Yeah.
I had a couple people. Well, I guess first off, it's kind of funny, well, with like the whole like because it was like an election year. That's what a lot of people were saying,
Yeah.
and just to be blunt, like a lot of people thought like the candidate that won this past year, like it'd be sunshine and rainbows, but right now, it's not. So it's kind of funny in perspective and how the timeline shifts and whatever. But I did have a few people reach out saying like, why doesn't or I've heard even people talk about this, like some of the big guys in the sport, like Forsberg and Hamilton and their sit downs and all that good stuff. It's like, why isn't FD like you could be like you could live off of what FD pays you or it being a full time job? And they always it seems like 9 out of 10 people compare it to NASCAR. I don't know if it's because people don't like NASCAR. I personally love NASCAR now, but like you also got to look at like drifting does drifting 8 times a year. FD does it 8 times a year. The NASCAR Cup Series races 38 times a year, right? IndyCar does it like 20 times a year. F1 does it 24 times a year. There's so many opportunities to be on TV, which FD doesn't even do. Um, and so many opportunities for the sponsor to be plugged on social media, TV, highlights, whatever it is, podcasts, and that's just not happening with, FD. And I'm not saying there should be more rounds. I wish there were, but at some point you just got to think of how can we grow the sport financially in that way too. And then I feel like if we do that, then we could start getting people in other motorsports more of them into, FD. NASCAR drivers who do dirt track stuff, like you're sliding the car around in control. When you drift, some of it kind of translates over. So maybe we get, a Kyle Busch or a Kyle Larson in FD one day. But that's that little spiel out the way. I just wanted to bring
Yeah.
it up. It's just interesting to think about, food for thought for everyone watching.
Yeah. And like I said, I love FD and I want FD to have success, and this is why I'm upset about it because
Yeah.
I want to grow with them as well, personally, selfishly, and it's like I'm frustrated because now they've just cut the field even more, and it's like for example, media guys. Now
Yeah.
you've lost 6 people to possibly go sell media to.
Yeah.
You've lost, and it's a bummer because like I would say from a media perspective, it's hard as hell to make any money, let alone, well, I wouldn't even say make money. I would say it's hard as hell to even like possibly try and break even. Most media guys that go to FD lose money. I would say
Yeah.
90% of them.
Yeah.
And then the other 5% do it and they break even, and then I would say about 5% of the media guys at FD actually make money. And so
Yeah.
now that job just got what, 10% harder.
Yeah.
And it's like
100%.
and it's really unfortunate, especially for media guys that are trying to get into the sport and trying to actually get their name out there and stuff. And it's like they're not making it easy for you. But let's actually get into my first topic of the day, and we're gonna have some fun though. I know this is a big doom and gloom like first part of this, but like we're here to have some fun
Sorry.
too. And so the first thing I wanted to have some fun with was predictions for the year. Um, Obviously we got all of these drivers here, and then we have, or at least all these drivers here on the list. But I'm actually going to switch over to the last year's list so we can kind of get an idea and a perspective on where these guys finished last year, and then we'll see if we can make a prediction in the range that we think they're going to be. And in the chat, I also want you guys to kind of give me your prediction as well on where some of these guys are going to be finishing. And the easiest way I thought about doing this was is like the 4 different basically regions. So either you think they're going to finish top 5, finish top 10, 10 to 20, or 20 plus. Those are basically the 4 categories that I kind of thought would make sense to kind of break down drivers, because obviously you're not going to pinpoint exactly what place they're going to be in at the end of the year. But like, let's just start out with the new guys. Start out with the 3 prospect guys. We have Austin Mata, Sully.
You
Sorry,
got it.
had a brain fart there. Sully, and then TLO. Do you think those guys are making it to past 20? Because I don't.
Um, I
I mean,
think.
you got the rookies right here.
Hmm.
Everyone except Connor Shanahan, uh,
And Hiroya.
and Horia. You're right. Yes, those are the only two guys that made it past 20 last year. So, do you see any of those three making it past 20? And I
Hmm.
am friends with all of them, by the way. So I
No,
feel bad
yeah,
saying this, but I don't think. I just it's just like pro spec for me. Most of these drivers that jump into Pro 1 or Pro Spec for the first time suck. Almost all of them. It's a
yeah,
very rare occasion that a rookie Pro Spec driver actually does really well. I
yeah,
think O'Sully was the one that did it 2 years ago. There was no rookies that did really well last year in Pro Spec. So
yeah,
I would say hard pressed to get past a 20th place, honestly.
yeah.
And you look at the guys that like,
I'll say no.
yeah. I mean, who's the one guy you think would pass 20?
Oh, Sully, because he drives so much. He's
Mm-hmm.
always driving. Seems like
Yeah.
every weekend he's at an event and he's testing his car or testing during the middle of the week or something.
Yeah.
Purely off of that, I think maybe him, but I don't know. I think I think Tommy and O'Sully are gonna be in like the 18th to 22nd bubble around there. I'll just
Interesting.
say that. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause like so here's the pluses and minuses for these guys. Ostamana, he's running the same chassis. I think it's a new car for most of the events, but same
Hmm.
chassis. Obviously, just more grip than he's probably used to. So that he has that going for him. But again, this is just the next level of driving, and almost everyone's going to struggle. And he's probably going to have a fun time getting out of seating bracket, as most drivers do. That's the
Yeah.
first challenge, is getting out of seating bracket. Obviously, it's a lot easier now that we have way less drivers, but still, you get the point.
Yeah.
Um, the fun part is, how are you going to run the seating bracket and decide the one driver that gets knocked out? It's like
Yeah, I saw Westies, who's Andy Haley spotter, say that, and
I
that's
was like,
just
what?
luck of the hat there.
I was like, what are we doing, guys? But
Just gotta be lucky. That's
yeah,
about it.
yeah, it's dumb. Um,
Yeah.
but uh, you have TLO, new car. Listen, I know he's putting the laps in. I know he's an incredible driver. It's a new car, bud.
Yeah. No,
There are
100%.
very few drivers in this world that can jump into a different car. Your name literally needs to be James Dean or Connor Shanahan
Yeah.
to do serious damage with a new car. Obviously, Connor drove the in Irwindale, got a podium with a totally different car. Granted, it was still a BMW E46, but still, it's like as an example. And then you have O'Sully, whose same chassis. It's a new car, same chassis though, right? I believe.
Yes. I don't think it'll be done for Long Beach, but
Okay, so
Atlanta
he's
will
running the
be
Pro Spec
new
car.
E46. Yeah, that's what
Gotcha,
it seems like.
gotcha. And so again, same chassis, but way more grip than he's usually probably run. Um, O'Sully is an extremely aggressive driver, but is he going to be? I, I I just have a hard time, just from year over year, of watching a lot of the prospect guys jump up to later. It's like it's a rude awakening for their first year, and it usually is.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm stuck on,
Hmm.
for those
I get
guys.
you.
All right, so let's talk the next two new guys that are coming into the series, um, and you have Mr. Spicy Take underneath me, and we'll go with the first one with Daigo Saito. Where do you guys
Uh,
think Daigo is going to be finishing? Is it in top 5, top 10, 10 to 20, or 20 plus? And
I want the chat to see. I want to hear the chat out. I want to hear the chat out.
yeah, see if you can convince this man. But I don't think I'm going to be much better for predicting on, because here's the thing. Everyone's enamored by Daigo and how great of a driver he was. And every event
I
I've
don't think he's a terrible
no, and he's
driver.
not a bad driver, but every event I've watched of him recently, he's been really aggressive, which is cool, but shallow angle, a lot of jerkiness because his cars are usually faster than most people's. And in today's Formula Drift, you can't get away with that.
100%. Yeah.
You're just not going to win that way. And look at this. I agree with the chat. They're saying 10 to 20. And that's what I was thinking. And
I'm going below 20 though. I'm going like 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th. Daigo's going to be around
in that area. So like just for example, so the 20th position you got Taylor Hall, Nick Novak, Dan Burkett, Alec Robbins, Stuckey, Higa. So like some veterans that are there, good drivers, like again, really good drivers. But I would say most of those guys probably had some off seasons or some off events to be in that place. But even like the 10 to 20 guys, you got Brandon Sorensen, Simon Olsen, Jeff Jones, Chris Forsberg, Ken Gucci, Hurst, Beecham, Sharp, Rome. I was going to say, I don't know if I actually...
That was good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was going to mispronounce his name one way or another.
I think Rome's mom said Charpentier is the right way to say it. It's not Charpentier, so...
Okay.
Listen to his mom, I guess.
Kazuya, Castro, and those guys. So, again, 10 to 20 is a really good group of drivers.
Yeah.
And it's like... I think... I'm thinking 10 to 20... but the high 10s to 20s, like 15 plus, is where I'm kind of at. I think he's going to have one or two fantastic events, but I think overall, I think he's going to struggle. And it'll be really interesting to see how Daigo does. But it was funny because I posted that. If you guys seen on the YouTube channel, I posted a clip from our last show of my boy Brandon here being like, I'm not so confident in how Daigo's year. And I was like, I don't disagree with anything that he said, but the chat or the comments were absolutely roasting you. And it was so funny.
Yeah,
I'm like, guys,
I don't know. Maybe I'm being harsh.
FD's changed a lot since he was last here.
Yeah, maybe I'm being harsh, but yeah, I don't know. RDS, FDJ, love Daigo, love what he brings to the sport. Freaking legend. I just think competitive driving wise, it's just not there. Like D1's a completely different playing ground. Like they have the stupid DOS system where you don't even have to be anywhere close to the outside of the track to get all the points. You just have to go fast and kind of in a box, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm being harsh. Maybe like that 15 plus is where it'll be at. Because like I remembered Formula Drift 2015. That's the last time he drove. I don't remember him doing too hot. But I'm looking at the standings right now, and he finished 12th because he had a top 8 in, I think it's Texas or something. Yeah, he had a top 8 in Texas, and he did decent at Seattle. So those big tracks, and maybe he does well at Englishtown this year. But maybe he's in that 10 to 20. But all I'm saying, y'all need to chill saying he's going to freaking win another championship.
Yeah.
All right?
Chill out. That's definitely, I don't think that's what it's going to be. But regardless, I'm super excited to have him. Like, just as a fan of drifting, Formula Drift is better with Daigo in it.
100%. Yeah, and 100%.
And I want more people like him to come over. Like, get Naoki over here, like, let's have some fun, man. Like,
dude, please.
So like, I'm super pumped. It's just one of those things where it's like, I want to see it to believe it because it's just been so long. And it's just it is what it is. And then let's get to the last new driver, and the one that's most interesting to me is Jack freaking Shanahan. He's the biggest wild card of where I have no idea where to put him on here because it depends on how the dude's feeling that day.
Yeah, 100%. I'll put him 10 to 20. I'll put him there.
See, that's where I'm at too. I'm at 10 to
10,
20.
11, 12, 13, like around that area.
But yeah, the top part of 10, 20 is kind of what I was thinking for Jack Shanahan. And he's not, like, for example, he's not driving his BRZ FRS or whatever it is over there in Europe.
Yeah.
Toyota GT86, one of the 4 names it
Uh-huh.
has.
Yeah.
And I don't think we saw how Connor did, and Connor did amazing last year with what the
Yeah.
cards he was dealt, with the car he had and everything, and it was super impressive. But I don't know. I'm curious what chat thinks. What do you
Yeah.
guys think about Jack Shanahan?
I mean,
Is he making top 10 this year?
I
Could,
hope I'm wrong. I hope he makes top 10, but just seeing how he drove at that Wisefab event and just that, he seemed not to gel with the car very well.
yeah.
But you also got to think he did RDS in 2021 in a Mark IV Supra, and he won the whole championship
Yeah.
first time out in a new car. So statistically, statistics are on his side, but I am thinking that 10 to 20, unfortunately.
Yeah. But again, in my opinion, one of the biggest wild cards, I think.
100%.
Because
100%.
if he's on, he's one of the best. I like Malik's answer, 8 to 15.
Yeah.
I like that
That's
answer.
a good range.
It is. But yeah, it'll be a fun kind of. That's why I liked having Connor come in, because you're like, I have no idea where he's gonna fit in, you know.
Yeah.
And then he showed up and was sick, and I was like, okay, I'm here for it. So again, Jack honestly might be my pick for biggest wild card of the year. But let's go ahead and start at the bottom, or no, yeah, we'll start at the bottom here. And basically, I want to go through the drivers that are driving this year and ask if you guys think they're going to be jumping into basically the next bracket, or if you think they're going to be kind of where they're at in the bracket that they're in. So, obviously, Von Gittin is
Dead last. Obvious.
Yeah, let's see if we can zoom in.
Next.
There we go. Yeah. Power's not driving. Wang's not driving. We got Ben Hobson. And this is an interesting one, because you guys obviously saw Ben last year. I personally felt terrible for him. Granted, he has one of the coolest jobs in the world, getting to drive an RTR Mustang, but nothing went right for him last year. Now, to be fair, not all of his losses were because of mechanicals. I would say probably half of them were.
Half. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's fair.
were mechanicals.
Yeah.
And that's a real bummer, because the fact that the car beats you for half the year is got to be super frustrating for him. And I don't think he got to show off his true skill with the car. But the other part of it is he did have a good opportunity on the other half of those battles, and he messed up somewhere.
Yes.
And he usually lost him to himself.
100%. Yeah.
And so that's where I'm kind of curious to see, is he going to get into the 10-20 range, or is he still staying in the 20-30? You know, because everyone knows.
I'm going bottom 20.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Everyone knows he's got a car that could get you to top 5, top 10. You got a car that can do it. Now, can he do it?
Yeah, exactly.
You know? And for me, it's tough, because there was some laps, like his battle against Alec Robbins in St. Louis, where the dude was on it, and he had no practice laps. And then there were other times where I was just like not as impressed when the car was working. And it's tough to gauge something like that. I think I'm going to go with 20-30 as well. Just because it's tough to make that big of a jump.
Yeah.
But definitely a guy that I'm curious to see where he goes. Next up, we got.
It sucks because he's like the nicest guy ever. But
oh yeah, dude, I love Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super nice guy.
You know what the real question is what does Vaughn want him to get? What is the goals for RTR?
I don't know.
You know, because I don't think it's 20-30.
Cards are
I don't think it's the 20-30 range. I think
no.
I think for RTR they're expecting him at least in that 10 to 15 range.
100%.
Which has got to be some pressure. You know.
Yeah.
So and you remember this? I don't. Were you on the Reader show? Show
Yeah.
when Reader was like, yeah, they talked to me about it,
Yeah.
and it's like,
I
how is
still
that
don't know
looking
why we
now?
brought that up. I'm like, I don't think he wants to like go over that again, but I
Yeah,
guess we'll talk about it.
yeah. I was like, you really just said that. And I'm like, holy smokes, yeah. That driver was possibly going to be Travis Reader instead of Ben Hobson, and I'm
Yeah.
curious to see how they're looking at it now. You know,
Yeah.
because it's like, was it the right decision? And honestly, from a
Yeah.
marketing perspective, it probably was because Ben Hobson's parents own a Ford dealership. It just makes a lot of sense.
Was
He's
it
a
though? Because like if you gotta do well, like okay, let's think about
do you
Pennzoil's
though?
position
Do you
right
really
now.
have to
Well,
do
let's
well
think
to be a
about
good
Pennzoil's
marketing?
position, right? Last year, Pennzoil's drivers were Mike Power, Federico, and Ben Hobson, all of which finished 28th or below, right? That's not
Yeah.
a good look for Pennzoil, right? I doubt like Pennzoil is an
Weren't
oil
they on
company.
James Dean's car too?
A little sticker,
Hey,
yeah,
hey,
but now it's a bigger sticker this year, which is great.
yeah.
But the main car, the main Pennzoil car, was Federico and Ben. So it's just like,
Yeah.
I don't
Fifth
know,
gear is like,
you
we'll
know?
move up for sure, but I don't expect him to move in the top 10 though. So fifth
Yeah.
gear is saying 10 to 20. Malik is definitely, he'll move up 10, 20, especially with the new setup changes. Okay, so people are high on him. Celine
Yeah.
Drift said 2030, but some people seem pretty high on Ben this year. So
Yeah.
um, I am curious. I'm curious to see with Ben because there's got to be pressure on him now.
Oh, 100%.
You
There's
know,
gotta be.
he got his rookie season out of the way. A lot of it can be explained away by the car. Cool. This year,
Yeah.
no excuses. You know?
Yeah.
So definitely one to look at for this year. Rudy Hansen, going into his second year. Wife is off. The biggest plus for Rudy Hansen this year, he's driving one series. He's not doing the prospect stuff because he said that killed him. And I don't blame him because he's literally driving from dusk until dawn every single day because he was in both the seating brackets a lot of the time. And it's like, that's just, how are you going to concentrate driving 8 hours a day? There's just no way. You can't do it. So I still think he's going to be in the 2030 range, but I think he's going to have a round or two where he really shines. And I'm definitely hopeful that his season and his mental like health and all of that is going to be in a lot better place this year. And also, I mean, how cool is it to have your wife also drive in the series? Like, that's fucking sick.
Yeah.
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 So
It'd be good.
I'm
I'm
stoked.
thinking bottom 20, but
Yeah, yeah,
like 29, 30, 31st, 32nd, like around there.
yeah. And like I said, we'll see. I
Yeah,
am
we'll
curious
see.
to see the mental side and how different he drives this year.
Yeah.
Derek Madison. A lot of it depends on if his car's working. I
Yeah.
don't know if his car was working for an entire round
Yeah.
last year.
And
I don't think it was.
in the FD Discord, little insight, his car is still not put together yet. So I'll send a prayer for you, Derek. But hope the best
Yeah.
for you.
You know how I said that there's a really good chance that not all of the cars are running by
Yeah.
top 32?
There we go.
Example A of why
Hmm.
we're not going to get a full top 32 in Long Beach.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hate to say it, but I'm right.
Hate to
And
say
I'm gonna
it.
be right.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just one of those things where it's just so frustrating. But again, Derek, I really don't know what he can do until he brings a working car.
100%.
So
Yeah.
I'm saying 2030 until he brings 2030 places until he brings a working car to FD.
Yeah. I'm going same with Rudy's
Yeah.
area, like 29, 30, 31, 32.
Yeah.
Like the bottom. So
Yeah.
tough
Next
to
up,
say, but
Dimitri Bruschi.
yeah.
Interesting one. And I'm surprised he's not
Very.
higher up on this list.
I am too. He drove very well last year for when his car was working.
He reminds me somewhat of like a Dylan Hughes, to where he's pretty smooth, very pretty like he does everything right,
Okay.
but he just doesn't push it over the edge to get that win.
I wouldn't say he does everything right, but I think he's a lot better than people make him out to be in
Yeah.
some cases. But yeah, I hope he also does one series
Yeah,
this
same.
year. Just as pro, please focus on
Although
one
last time
car.
I talked to him, he was doing both. But I'm like, brother,
Okay.
brother,
All
brother, like, come
right.
on, man. Like, I want you
All
to focus
right.
on this series. I want you to really see what you can do.
Did you see his
Because,
kid is doing a pro-am in the pro spec car?
oh, yeah.
Yeah. Beat
Yeah.
Reese Conklin. Crazy.
Yeah. So
Crazy
it's,
world we live in.
yeah. So, it'll be cool to see once his kid makes it into FD and then little father son duo. That'll be sweet.
Be cool.
But yeah, I'm of all the guys that I'm most curious about, and a lot of people, it looks like people are really curious and interested in Ben Hobson moving out of this 20 to 30 group. I could see Dimitri doing it. You know,
I can't.
for me, it would be obviously in the top end of the 10 to 20, but he's a guy that I think drives consistently enough that I think he's going to get some breaks this year.
Mm.
Next up, Andy Haitley, another guy that was
Mm.
struggling with a lot of issues last year. Biggest thing was the
Yeah.
tires, I think.
100%.
Like
Yeah.
I know he told me multiple times. Like, also I think he only made like 800 wheel or something like that. So he
Which
said
is a lot, but not a lot for pro.
right, and so he said he felt slow compared to everyone else, partially because of the power, partially because of the tire. I think Kumo's made some big changes this year for their tire, and they're a lot better. And Andy's making more power this year, so he's going to be more competitive this year. Is he going to break the 20 mark? I don't know, but regardless, he's a winner in everyone's eyes because he has the Drift Wizard hat, and that is an amazing selling product. And I am jealous I didn't think of it earlier.
Yes. Best marketing for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Malik's got 1525. Celine Drift says bottom 15. Yeah, it's about kind of where I was thinking.
Yeah. I'm going bottom 20 again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But again, if you're at FD funding your entire season by selling cone hats, I don't think you can be that mad, honestly.
Exactly.
Kind of jealous. All right. Federico Sharifo. One of the names I was still surprised that was coming in.
Mm.
I have a hard time getting him above 20 as well.
Yep. Likewise.
It's just the car. It's like I
Yeah.
made the comment to I think it was Simon Olsen. I was like, it was crazy how when he jumped in Odie's car, he went from 24th overall to 4th overall in his season. Granted, there were a lot of other reasons for that, and he's a really good driver. But I gave him the question. I was like, what if like a guy like Federico Sharifo drove that car? What if he didn't drive a Ferrari? You know?
Yeah.
It's cool because it's like his thing, right? But what if he actually like drove something competitive? And like it's always made me wonder that. But yeah, until he drives something other than a Ferrari, for me it's going to be 20 plus.
Yeah. Yeah. He's making changes. He's putting a quick change in it. 6XD. He's not going to run 150-mile-an-hour wheel speed at Long Beach anymore. But still 20 plus,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah. It's going to be tough for him. Next
Yeah.
up, we have Ryan Literal.
Mm.
It's tough for me
Mm.
because the dude has the skill, but he's been making this car. He's been trying to make this car work for how long now? 4 years?
I'm like 90. I haven't asked him. I'm like 90% sure he's putting the V8 that he had in his Z into the S15. So he's going V8. Because you know how he
Really?
made that post like in November? He's like, I'm sorry guys, throwing the RB out. I think he was serious and he's putting the V8 in. And if that's the case, he's gonna be a menace.
This is gonna be a
Dude
problem.
can drive. S15 is a great chassis. That's
Hmm.
what he's been in his whole career besides the Z, and he's comfortable in that. I think, all the tires this year are great, no matter what tire he's on. I think if he's got a good mindset, well set up car, I don't know. I'm gonna throw like a hot take. I think he's gonna be like 10, 20 around that area. I think he's finally gonna show the Ryan Literal that Ryan Literal is, So that's all I gotta say.
You might have convinced me. The problem is it's always something with this guy. It's
Yeah,
always it's always something.
yeah.
It's never a smooth sailing ship. It seems like when with Ryan Literal, unfortunately. At least
Yeah.
for the entire time that I have watched FD, I don't know if this guy's ever had a quiet event. So
Yeah, no.
it's tough because you've seen it. Like he's got what event did he do really good in? It was Orlando.
Orlando.
Dude was ripping
Yeah.
and has the ability to do it too.
Mhm.
But it's like, is the car there? And until I see it, I can't believe it. So
Oh, I
I'm
get it.
sticking in the
Yeah.
10 to 20 range. Although, or sorry, the 20 to 30 range is where I'm keeping him. But
Yeah.
definitely in the upper echelon of that. And let's say
Yeah.
he's got a working car this year, 10 to 20 is totally possible.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's a killer when it comes to marketing and the companies he works with, but I do think if he cracks that top 20 this year overall, I think that'll be a massive win for the direction of his program and what he's doing as a whole. So,
Right.
yeah.
Interesting. Another. I'm gonna miss Thorn and Higa. It's a bummer that these guys aren't driving. Stuckey.
Mm.
Another one of those guys that it's like super consistent, but
Mm.
in order to make it to the next tier, you got to start putting yourself out there. If that
Not
makes
even
sense.
that. I don't know. I don't know if that car works. I don't think
The
the
lightweight
light
small tire
car
do.
small tire. I don't think it works for him. I don't think it's been working. Last year showed it didn't work. Um, I'm going, and he's on Kenda this year. I assume he's going to use like a 265 or something.
Yeah.
Just because of how the way that car is built. It's the most beautiful S15 on the grid, but it's just that tire combo and his style, it just doesn't work. So I'm going bottom 20 again, fortunately.
Yeah. And he's one of those guys that's kind of like you see his chart here 28, 28, 28, 28, 28, 28, 28. About as consistent as you can be, you know? It's like is he going to have a breakout one of these events, you know? And it's like for that to happen, I think he's got to start making some marks on that car.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
No,
know.
for sure. Yeah.
And it's a tough one. And
Mhm.
it's again, it's one of those guys where I got to see it to believe it, you know, like that he's jumping to the next level. So yeah, I'm agreeing 20 plus on Stuckey, again, higher part of the 20s. Next up, we got Dan Burkett.
Radical Daniel.
One of the guys I'm most curious about this year. And it's
100%.
because he's allowed now to run WiseFab on the Supra, which completely changes the rear end of that car.
Yeah.
It now is, in my opinion, competitive. So what
Yeah.
is Rad Dan like in a competitive car now? You know?
I don't know.
It's like
I don't know.
it's like I think he was downplaying it when he talked to us about it and was like, "Yeah, it's probably like a 10% improvement of the car and driving." And I'm like, "Honestly, I think it opens up a lot of things for him. I think
Yeah.
he doesn't have to rely on the tire as much to keep up with people. You
You
can
run
use
Tope now.
you can use the chassis to get the grip to keep up with people, and you're not compromising on the tire pressures and stuff like that as much, losing sidewall and all that. Oh, Nick Novak says he's got feels on it as well this year.
Let's go.
Man, and I've wanted Dan to do well for so long.
Wow, I'm rapid 7 going with 10 to 15. That is a
Wow,
bold statement.
that is a bold take. You know,
I'll shoot him up there with Ryan. I'll go 10-20. I think they'll be neck and neck, like in
hmm
overall finish at the end of the year.
yeah, and I mean he had a really good event last year at Orlando as well. The guy
Yeah.
can drive. The
Yep.
guy's an animal. Now his car is more of an animal, and I'm excited for it. So I'm going 10 to 20 as well. I'm high on Dan Burkett,
Yeah.
100%. Nick Novak, good to see you, buddy, in the chat. Where do we think old buddy Nick is gonna be dropping in this year?
Have I said all like the 20 under? Maybe I'm shooting too high for people, but I think I'll go 10 to 20 with Nick. I think he'll do better than last year because remember, I think what
Well, we
was it,
have for one,
23?
we have less drivers, so
Yes.
there's a good chance that every one of these guys is going to improve their position.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
there's
I'll go 10 to 20 for Nick.
well, and
Um
and so for me, Novak, well, for Novak, he was down on power. I think it was after New Jersey, or no, was it before New Jersey?
it was from
Orlando.
Orlando into New Jersey.
That's
After
right.
Orlando, he had
And,
an
and he
engine
had some
failure.
really good finishes before that, and
Yeah? Oh yeah.
it's like I think he's a guy that's competing for the 10 to 15 range.
No, 100%. I think
I
so
got a hot
too.
take there, and I think he's
Yeah.
competing for 10 to 15 range.
Yeah, he's got like 1100 horsepower. These meaty kendos. He's got wise fab front and rear. Like he has the team, he has the package. It's just put it together, make everything work. I think, if the engine stays the whole season, good chance 10 to 15, 10 to 20 at least.
Mm, yeah,
Yeah.
I think, and I think he's gonna have a round in there, kind of like how he had Irwindale 2 years ago,
Yeah.
where he's getting a podium.
He's the bank man. He loves them banks,
I think
Ride
he's
it
getting
high.
another podium this year. I think that's definitely in the cards for him.
Yeah, no, 100%.
All right, so let's see who do we got after Nick. Taylor Hall's not running. Castro. Castro
Mm,
is one of the hardest guys in this whole thing to rate.
yeah, 100%.
Because what Castro are you getting on any given day? It's like, are you getting Chase God Castro? Or are you getting broken car Castro? Are you getting simple takes himself out Castro? Which Castro are we getting?
Yeah, no, I get that. I would yeah, it
I
does
mean, for me,
depend.
it's 10 to 20 because
Yeah.
he's going to have good rounds, but then he's also going to
I'm
have bad rounds.
I'm going 20 below. 20
Wow.
or 20 or more. Yeah.
I feel like we put a lot of guys 20 below, but yeah,
Well, you
no,
got
you're right.
to. There's
You had a
13
couple extra
slots.
guys. You had literal up there and stuff and whatnot, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, again, last year new engine for him, B58 had ups and
No,
downs
you
with
ran
it.
that the year before. I
Did
thought
he? Or was
so.
it 2 years ago? Okay,
Yeah.
so again, it's 10 for me. It's 10 to 20, probably higher end of that though. For me. Next
Yeah.
up, not Kazuya Taguchi because he's not running, but Rome Charpentier. Which car is Rome running again?
He is I thought he was running Sally, but on his Instagram, he has a 1 series that's left-hand drive with an S54 that's upright. So, yeah, on a 1 series this year
Is it a
again.
is it a one
Yeah.
series? Okay.
That's what it looks like. Yeah, and then Sally's just another in case the 1 series breaks, he's got his spare E36 with 900 horsepower that he could use if he wants to. So, that's nice.
Interesting. Yeah,
Yep.
Rome is one of these guys where he does really impressive things in the weirdest circumstances. You get what
Yeah.
I'm saying though? Like he's
No, I
like
get you.
he's I remember when he was running the Federals, like one of the off worst tire in the series, and dude was like pulling out like top
Made it work.
16s and top 8s out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Um he and then obviously the rest of the but he was like one of these guys that was like would like show up one round and just kick butt. And then other rounds it was like, okay, he's not quite there yet. And then last year, he brought out the 1 Series. I don't think he was planning to run that car in FD originally.
No, yeah.
And it looked like he was developing the car as he was competing. and
Yeah.
so it's just one of those things where, and he did solid. Like, he's 17th
yeah.
overall. He had some good rounds.
Yeah.
But
First two were good, but first two you don't need a ton of power. Those are
right.
more set up your car to drive easy more
Mm-hmm.
than anything. So
But is he a guy that cracks the top 10?
he's getting there. I don't think yet though. I think
No.
like 10, 11, 12, he's around that area, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think
Yeah,
he's
I'm in the
a
10 to
top 10
15
guy.
range with him
Yeah.
as of right now.
Yeah.
Phil says 5 to 15. That's a big range, but I get
That again, yeah, big range, Phil, but it's all right. Fifth Gear
it.
asks who is running the garages Sticky 92. It is prospect rookie Carson Ruger.
Okay,
He's running that. Yep.
cool. Yeah,
Yep.
he's got
Yep.
all kinds of cars going all over the place.
Dude, there are so many garagistic cars out there. It's crazy. There's like 5 of them. It's like good for
Well,
you guys.
he's finding people to build them for. So I mean, if you
Yeah,
can make it work, dude, make it work.
exactly.
All right. Next up, Trenton Beecham,
Mm.
another guy that I don't have a good read on.
Yeah, no. He something turned on at the end of last season. Evergreen,
Mm-hmm.
Utah. Just flipped the switch and was ready to go. I don't know what tire he's on. Well, there's
Yeah, because he was
any
on
good
Nexon
tire.
last year, right?
Yeah, which
Is
isn't
the
a
other
good
oddball
tire.
part about his program. It's just like, is that competitive still? Is it kind of what's holding him back? Is it
Yeah, well now he has to be on GT or Kumo, so
something, or Kenda?
one of the
No, he's
two.
not. It wasn't announced as a Kenda driver. So yeah, so it's one of
Yeah,
those two.
or Nitto, maybe. I don't think so,
Celine
but
Drift says 20 to 30. I think that's a
Mm,
bit harsh. I'm still sticking with 10 to 20 on the
yeah,
range, but
I'll go 10 to 20.
I'm thinking about where he placed, 16th. Sounds like where he's going to be this year.
Yep.
But again, Phil's making fun of me for the 10 to 20 range, but I'm like, hey,
Nah,
man.
he's right though. It's a 10-figure increment. No, he's right.
Yeah, I know. I'm just
That's on you for that one.
yeah, I know. But like when you get to the lower end of the, it's more important up top. Okay, let's just
Yeah,
say that.
it's
Okay,
true. It's true.
it's more important to be specific. Malachi says top 15. I mean,
Mm,
that wouldn't be much of
if
a
that's so, I would say 15th.
yeah.
Kind of
15th to
anything.
probably 13th, that range. He's gonna need some
Yeah.
good rounds, because like just looking at his previous years, he has a lot of rounds where he's getting out of the top 32.
hmm
A lot of the time it's him that messes
Yeah.
up, and he's a very emotional driver that I've seen.
hmm
So it'll be interesting to see if he keeps those emotions in check.
Yeah.
But he's going to need some good rounds to kind of stay into that 15 plus range.
Yeah.
All right, Jonathan Hurst, the man
Ooh.
that just makes it work.
Yeah.
He literally drives whatever the heck that is. It's not an XLR.
Corvette.
It's literally a pile of whatever it's made out of.
Composite.
Yeah, no, it's just body panels just stitched
Yeah.
together. Not even, what am I even saying? Zip tied together. Like, dude, it's so funny. It just looks so funny to me. Granted, I love the
Yeah.
livery, but it's like it's such a weird car to see driving around. But it is a
It's
Corvette at
very
the end
cool
of the day.
though. Very cool.
Yeah, it's a Corvette at the end of the day. So it's a competitive chassis. He
Yeah.
loves to have fun. And when we talked to him, he felt he got jobbed, and I agree, on a couple
Yep.
calls last year, and the year before that, and the year before that. So he said he's not taking the shit anymore, and he's going to start making some noise about it. How do you think that's going to handle or go?
Good. Yell. I think he got robbed a lot. All of his career, he's been freaking robbed. It's been
Yeah.
there should be people in jail with how much he's been robbed. Um, yeah, I think he'll be
Is he
10
crapping?
to 20.
Is he cracking? Okay, so you don't think he's cracking top 10?
No, no, no. I think he'll get a podium this year, though. That's on my bingo card. He's definitely
Okay.
somewhere along the line. He'll get a podium. I think so. Maybe I don't
I
know if
can
he
agree with
likes the
that.
one-way feels, or if he's gonna go two or three-way suspension wise. But if he does, and it improves, that could help. But yeah, I think he'll crack a podium. I think he'll do. I think he'll do better. I think he'll do better. We'll say that. I think he'll do better this
Yeah, so
year
you're
for
thinking
sure.
10 to 15 range.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Just looking at the list ahead of him, we got some pretty heavy hitters coming up, so
Oh yeah,
it's always tough to go against those guys. Um,
yeah,
Next up we have Ken Gushi, who I thought had a really good year last year. For compared in comparison to his previous years recently.
yeah, yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
I think he's going to be roughly around this range still.
No, 100%. Yeah. I think that 8.6 Jay-Z package he just gels so well with. Seems to do well with the Kendas.
Is it?
It's
It's
just
just consistency at its peak right there. In
no,
terms of
100%.
it's just for him, he's one of those guys where it's like, is he willing to push that extra half of a foot into
Yeah.
someone's bumper to kind of really make the crowd wow the crowd? You know?
Yeah. I think who just said that? Celine Drift podium at Long Beach. I think he'll get a podium at Long Beach. I could see him get a third, second, first around there. He's very good at Long Beach. I only say that. Like how Forrest Wang was so good around Long Beach. Kangushi's the same. I think a big thing for Gucci is just making sure everything aligns, like making sure all of his ducks are in a row. It's like him as a driver, when the ducks aren't in a row, he doesn't perform. Some drivers they can push through it. Gucci, it can't. It's got to be ducks in a row.
Yeah.
Also, mindset's a big thing. I said this last week. I was watching like some Scion Racing video series from 2015.
Yeah.
Just the way he talked, maybe that was 10 freaking years ago, so it's probably changed. But his confidence as a driver just needs to stay where it's at or get better. He's doing FD Japan again, which is cool. Some more seat time. That's gotta be a task to go to Japan
Yeah.
every other week. But yeah, 10 to 15, probably a podium. But yeah,
Hell
great
yeah.
driver. Just
Yeah.
improving that ready car.
Oh, it's always a beautiful car. He's always has
Yeah.
one of the best looking cars on grid.
Oh, 100%.
All right. Next up, we got Chris Forsberg.
Christopher.
Probably rough year last year for him.
Yeah.
I would say he's a guy that's trying to go for a top 5, if not a championship. And
Mm-hmm.
the fact that he dropped out of the top 10 is probably pretty disappointing for him.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And I was watching some of what you said last whenever that was, Thursday, and you
Mm-hmm.
said he hopped on some Wisefab this year. Looks like
The
he's
good
got
blue
some.
stuff.
Yeah, so you got some improvements on the car, especially from a grip. You think he's breaking into the top 5, or is he sticking where he's at? Or
I'll
is
say
it
top 10.
top
I
10?
think he's not going to be out of the top 10.
It's hard to stick him out of the top 10. I'm not gonna lie.
It is. Yeah. There's a lot of those just heavy hitters this year.
Hmm.
Um,
And that's the hard
you
thing about
know.
the series is a lot of the guys we lost are from mid pack.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
it's kind of creating somewhat, not really, but there is sort of a divide now between probably the top 15 and the bottom 15 in terms of
Yeah.
drivers,
No, 100%.
which is kind of unfortunate.
Yeah. It
But yeah,
is.
there's definitely a pretty substantial gap, and a guy like Chris Forsberg just sticks out like a sore thumb at 13th.
Yeah. No, 100%. I think talking to him, it was his worst season ever, which is not good.
Right.
Yeah, that's not great. I think he'll be Um, was he? I wrote down my top five. Hold on, let me look at this stupid list again. Give me a second. I
Yeah,
don't
because
think he'll
I'm thinking
be as
510
bad.
because he hasn't done it with the 400Z.
No, I don't think. Well, I think he did in 2023. He put it in the top 10. I think he was
No, no, what I'm
eighth.
saying, like in like terms of being a contender,
Oh, I
he
see.
hasn't
Yeah.
done a top 5 type season in the 400Z.
No, he did his first year in 2022.
Did
I'm
he?
looking at it now. Yep, fifth.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think new stuff, the blue stuff, the grippy stuff, that sort of thing, the wise fab, I think he'll
Right.
do better. He's making more power. He's got small turbos and he sprays all the way up. Fun fact, he used to just spray at the very top, which I don't know
Why?
why you do that. That's what I'm
What's the
saying.
point
He's
of the
like, the
nitrous if you?
extra power up top. I'm like, shut the fuck up. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. There's no point in nitrous.
The only
But
time
yeah,
you're supposed to use nitrous is at the bottom.
it was like they sprayed at the top. I'm like, that makes no sense. But
That's
that was
funny.
back in like 2019, 2020 when like
Mm,
nitrous was new into
yeah.
the turbo stuff. So
Hmm.
they've learned. But yeah, good team, vibes well with them. They all get along well. Good vibes.
Obviously, great relationship with Nissan, so it's like
Yep.
he's their
Knox.
guy. So it's like
Yep.
I'm sure they would love to see at least top 10, if not top 5. But
I think a top 10 is very, very likely
I
this
would
year.
agree. I
We're
would
we're
agree.
back to business for
Yep,
sure.
100%. All right, little wild card action here. Jeff Jones,
Yeah. Fa.
El Jefe, man.
Yeah, dude.
One of these guys that just keeps chugging along.
Yeah.
You know,
And he had a killer last three events last year, just taking everyone out. It was nuts.
yeah. And he was making the Kumos work. I know obviously this year. I'm really curious to see what he does
With a proper
with
tire.
with a proper tire now with the new Kumos.
Yeah. That
And
so when he made the switch when he top four at Seattle, he went to a 300 tread wear for the rest of the season, just so it could last the whole track for two
hmm
laps, which is funny.
yeah,
But yeah, good tire now. I'm thinking 10-20. Where he's at now.
yeah, probably 10-15, right around where he's at. That's where I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Just because there's so many good drivers ahead of him that
Yeah.
I'm like it's gonna be tough. Um,
100%.
next one, probably in another one that is like the one of the big wild cards as well. Simon Olsen, a guy with the
Mm,
skills to be a top 5 competing for a championship. But he is driving in
yeah.
his former Supra this year with, keep in mind, a bunch of upgrades. Like the whole
Yeah.
car is completely different from what it
Well, look.
was when he first started. Yeah,
Yeah.
now he's on, I think it's pretty sure it's Wisefab, and they've moved weight all over the place. They've changed a whole, like pretty much everything in that car. The car has been completely redone.
Hmm.
2JZ, um, and he's got an American team now working on the car. A lot of guys that are very knowledgeable in the series and running a team and stuff. So he has a good team
Yeah.
with him now. But there's no way it's tough. I can't say there's no way, but it's going to be tough for that car to compare to Odie's car that he drove.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say almost impossible. Just because it's not an LS. No offense to Jay Z guys, but Simon Olsen himself said that LSs are the best, pretty much in terms of
Yeah.
competitiveness, with the torque and the way that that engine package ran. So I don't know what to say about him. Because the
Mm.
reason, obviously, that he's in 11th was partially because of the car last year
Yeah.
failing.
Yeah. Two back-to-back seconds, and then it just went downhill from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see. I'm seeing Phil 10 to 15. Satria with a top 10 with luck. I'm Rapid says 10 to 15. Oh man, I don't know what to say about him. I don't know. It's a tough one because it's tough because you know the skill is there, but is the car? And for me, he's number 10. He's number 10 on my list.
I'll put you at I'll put him at 10. I think that makes sense. I think him and
I
then
think
the
he's gonna
next
have
two we're gonna
some
talk
learning
about.
curves
Yeah.
with the car.
And he's got his own program again and all that.
Now I
I'd
know
say 10 to
personally talking
15.
to him, he wants to contend for a championship, which more
Yeah.
power to him. But I'm just trying to look at the facts here and be like, where is it most likely going to be? You know?
There's a lot of people contending for a championship this year, so
Yeah. I mean, the
I
top
don't
10
know.
list is like, who are we sticking out of the top 5? You know, it's like it's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
Brandon Sorensen, he's gonna be answer to one of my questions later on in the show, that we'll get to very soon. But I think one of the rising stars in the sport.
Yeah.
And he's going to upset some people this year. I think he's consistently improved every year. I think top 10 was a fantastic result for him. I think he's knocking on the door of top 5 this year. That's going to be one of my hot takes.
Hot take. I think he's going to stay right where he's at.
Yeah.
In 11th or 10th.
Yep. I think he's fighting for the 5-6 spot.
Is he? I don't know.
He's got the car.
I think maybe 9th or 8th at best. I don't see him fighting for 5th or 6th though. I can't see it.
Yeah. So I'm pretty high on him. Just watching him as a driver, he's consistently showed up and he's looked scary pretty much every round.
Yeah, I don't know. The past since 2022, he's just jumped around like 10th to 20th, like in that range.
Yeah.
So it's just like he's very good, very consistent, but like some of the other drivers, he misses out on a little bit of something every time. He like something either in his lead, like he's off a clip, or in his chase, like he messes up a little bit, and that costs him because he is a great driver, and everyone who chases him, everyone who battles him knows that and lays it out there. But like there's that next 2-3% or that even 1% to get better is the hardest, and I just don't think he's there yet.
Yeah. Dylan Hughes, next driver in here. One of these guys, and we interviewed him, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to start hitting people this year because I've been too nice.
Yeah.
And one of those guys that's Mr. Consistent, does everything right, but that's the problem. He does everything right, which can hurt you in this sport. Yeah. And I don't know how he's going to change that.
I don't know. Looking at previous standings, he's got 9th 2 years in a row, which is a very funny statistic. I didn't realize that. Yeah, I think he'll be top 10, 100%.
100% top 10, but I think he's right where he's at.
Yep.
I think he's 7, 8, 9.
7, 8, 9. 6, 7, 8, 9. I'll go 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
Around that range, he'll be in that area. I don't think he's going to dip below top 10. He's been in the top 10 since 2021. That's a pretty solid statistic.
Dude, like a legit guy he's gonna win probably one event. A really good chance of winning one event this year.
Yeah.
But then he's gonna have like 1 or 2 where he gets knocked out in top 32.
Yeah, and he'll win either Orlando, Englishtown, or Seattle because those are his 3 strong ones.
So, like I said, we'll see if there's a different Dylan out there next year. But again, I think he's too easy to drive against. To be in that top 5.
Yeah.
And
I get
easy
that.
as in easy to chase.
Yeah, which isn't a problem. I think that's good, really good.
Yeah.
Don't try to mess up the freaking chase driver. That's
Right.
dumb.
Exactly.
Don't do that.
Um, Connor Shanahan. I'm gonna let you go first because I have the hottest take of hottest on him.
Shanahan in 5. Going Shanahan in 5.
Wow,
Top
that's
5.
lower than I thought you would have put him.
I'm going top 5. Top 5. I think he's gonna be a championship contender. I think maybe. Now that I think about it, I'm thinking, and the other thoughts are coming in. New chassis, new car, could
Mm-hmm.
have issues, but it's almost identical.
It's a new chassis.
Yeah, no, it's an
And how did that new chassis last year go in Drift Masters?
I am going. Well, was that a new chassis in Drift Masters?
Well, he's changed a lot of things on it.
Oh,
I
I'll
work for a
go.
company that he doesn't no longer use, and it didn't go
Uh,
so hot.
I will go. I'm seeing some other names. I'll go top 10. I'm not going top 5. I'm not going top 5. I want to
Wow,
go
you
top
so
5.
you so you did the
My
same thing I
gut
did.
is saying, my brain is saying top 5, but my gut is saying top 10.
Yeah,
Just because of
my
that.
hot take is yeah, he's not top 5. I
I
think
don't
he's
think
right
Connor
where he's
Shanahan's
at.
gonna be top 5.
And
No.
I don't think I think from the hype that I've seen online, people are saying he's like the next championship contender, which is
Yeah.
completely understandable. The fact that he's in a familiar car, he's which to be fair, have we ever seen a GT86 compete for the championship?
Turk 2019.
Yeah, it's been a couple years since then.
It's been a
So,
few years.
yeah. Um obviously they competed for a championship many years in Drift Masters but
Yep.
that's a different series with different tires and different emphasis on suspension setup and all that kind of stuff. But um yeah, my hot take is that he's not in the top 5. I
I'll go
think
top 10. Yeah, I'll go top
I
10
mean, yeah,
too.
definitely top 10. He's going to win around, if
Uh-huh.
not maybe 2.
Yeah.
But
He'll win Orlando again.
I think there's there's going to be some things that hiccup in the program this year, and we're gonna see some fireworks about it, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we'll see.
I think so too. Yeah.
He's one of those guys that if everything works out for him, he should be fighting for first.
Yeah. 100%.
But the
I
thing
think
is
so
you have to
too.
have a lot of things go right, and what is the likelihood of a new chassis and everything going right?
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't usually happen.
Exactly. Doesn't happen. No.
So
I mean, Wardhouse did it in 27. They had a lot of money. Anyway, okay. No, I don't think so. They had
they had
so
3
much money.
cars, you know.
They had
It's
3
fine, you know.
cars. They built 2Zs before, and they just abandoned them because they didn't think it was good enough. And then
Yeah.
they built an S15. No. Yeah, no. Top 10. I'll go top 10 for sure.
Yeah. I mean, if he went to all the round, Rapid said, I mean, if he went to all the rounds last year, he probably is top 5 in points, and I agree.
Yeah.
But guess
Yeah.
what? He was driving last year, a BMW.
Okay. Stop. It was a BMW that has driven in the series for 5 years and was tried and true. It still had issues. He hopped into a borrowed one in Irwindale and then finished third,
It's
which
still a
is
BMW,
shocking.
which is
Yeah.
the cheater chassis.
Yeah.
So
True.
he's
Good
in
car.
an 8.6, but I don't know in the new
Yeah.
era since like COVID. I don't know. Obviously, Taguchi's been the best in an 8.6.
So right. Yeah. And you drive off the tires in
In Drift Masters.
Drift Masters, and you need so much mechanical grip and FD just because the tires aren't as good. And an 8.6 just doesn't produce it, but it doesn't matter because I don't know. I don't there's someone higher I'm thinking of who was also in an 8.6 who finished fourth last year. So I don't know.
Oh yeah,
That's a
Manoa, that's
tricky one.
right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know,
and
man.
and Manoa ran the same tires. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm still sticking with my position, but
I will too.
if everything goes right, this dude should be fighting for a championship. They're just
Yeah.
putting it out there.
Yeah.
So, definitely curious to see where this goes. Matt Field.
I'll go
Obviously,
sixth.
this is probably his worst year in a minute at seventh. So
Yeah.
previous couple years, he's been in the top three of the championship. He's lost the championship at Irwindale, I think, twice now in previous years. Like,
Yep.
like, like this guy. I'm sure there is no one else happier that they are not running Irwindale again than Matt Field.
Yeah. No, yeah. Irwindale 2022 was a very painful watch. Not gonna lie.
Yeah,
That was painful to watch.
yeah.
But
So one of those guys that again has the car and the driver skill to compete for a championship. Last year, I don't know if it was mechanicals or what. Maybe he's just a little off compared to what he's been in the past. For me, it's tough
yeah.
because
I'm gonna go sixth.
okay,
One better. I don't know. I like Matt. I like his program. I like him as a person.
I think he's
I
top
like his
five for me.
driving. I like his driving sometimes. It's just I don't know. His driving sometimes he doesn't throw the most angle. He's a
Yep.
very calculated and just like
Well, you can say the thing
get
about
around the
Shanahan too.
track.
You know.
Yeah, he's very fast. People have their opinions on him, and I'm not going to bring that up.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said anything, but I don't know. I think uh, I have yeah, 1 through 6 around that area.
Oh my gosh.
No, I'm gonna go 4 through 6. He'll be fourth, fifth, or sixth.
For
In
me,
my
he's a
opinion.
top five driver because I have one guy that I see dropping out of the top five.
Really,
Yep.
I know who you're thinking.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think he's fighting for the championship.
Okay.
I think he'll have a good season, and he's definitely for me a top five guy.
Okay. You know what? I'll change it. I'll change it again. I'll go top 5. You convinced me.
Yeah.
I think what you're thinking, I'm also thinking now.
Yep.
I think. Yeah.
Yep. All right.
Yep.
Next up, sixth place, which for Ryan Turk, which I feel like is a good finish for him, considering the
Turkey, man.
previous couple seasons. Even though it was probably one of the most crashy, if that's a word, seasons
Yeah.
for
He was
him.
always on the trailer, dude.
That
He was always
dude
on the trailer.
probably crashed 5 or 6 times worth of a Corolla. Like that dude, they probably had to use 5 or 6 different Corollas to put that thing back together by the end of the year.
Yeah. A lot of BMW control arms. Tell you that for free.
Jeez,
So,
like that dude, every event was making this car into a sandwich.
yeah.
But then he would find ways to like get into good positions. Like he won Seattle.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
I think a lot of it had to do with luck at Seattle.
Yeah.
Some
But
of it was
still, it's
luck, but
like
also he put on the top of the box. So,
yeah.
yeah.
So I think he's high currently
Yeah,
in
I
his
think so
position.
too. I think he's around the position he's at this year, just more consistent. I don't
Mm,
think he'll win around this year.
no. I think
Take
where he's at is a bit high from where
yeah.
I would have him. I think he's more of the 7, 8, 9 for me range.
Yeah.
Because I probably would have Connor Shanahan where he is at right now.
Yeah.
But again, it's like they're switching to the Kendas this year.
Oh.
And there's,
Yeah.
in my opinion, I know you're not the biggest fan of the Nittos, but in my opinion, there's no replacing sidewall
It just
and side
that
bite.
tire doesn't work over like 12 psi in the rear. That's the thing.
Really?
Like yeah, there's like a window with them. Like what I've heard from like people at RTR and stuff is like they don't run over 12 psi. It's like they struggle a lot with different things with them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like It's an old tire. It was introduced in what, 2017, 2018,
Yeah, it's been a
around
long
there.
time.
It's been a while, and there hasn't been many improvements to it. It's just stuck to it, and people have used it. I just maybe that's what fixes that car. It's a lot more. It's a weird chassis to begin with. It's a bubble with E46 like control arms and suspension.
Yeah,
Maybe with a Kenda and a more balance between grip of front and rear, maybe it works out. But again, that's a
right.
prediction and an
Yeah.
assumption. So
Hmm. Yeah, because Ryan Turek seemed like a guy that was just on a mission last year, and mission did a little too hard in some of the tracks.
yeah, yeah. I think
um,
the B58 move was a good move though. Get out of that
True.
four cylinder that likes to blow up.
Yeah, I talked to him about it. He said the car definitely drives different, with the weight and
Yeah,
stuff like that. So,
yeah.
curious to see if he gets more comfortable this year. But I'm sticking roughly where he is, maybe a little bit lower. Next up, Adam LZ, another wild card.
Yeah, yeah, no.
It's like he's on a different. I don't know what tire he's on this year.
I don't either.
I'm assuming whatever tire he wants to be on.
Yep. Tire Streets will buy for him.
Yeah, so he has had relationships with Nitto in the past. Really liked using their tires. I would not be surprised if he's running a Nitto again.
I doubt that.
Really?
Yeah.
You think he would go over to probably a GT Radial then?
Yeah, GT Kumo. Something. Kumo
I,
seemed good this year. Kumo seemed good.
really?
Yeah. I think all the tires this year seem good. I
Yeah.
think the worst is Nitto,
Okay.
surprisingly.
Yeah.
But
So,
I think all the teams that run it will make it work.
right. All right. Well, Adam, you still think he's top 5 next year or this year?
Yep.
Really?
I think he'll be top 5, like 5th or higher, I'm thinking.
It's
The
tough because
dude,
it's like, who would I replace him with? And it's like, for me, it's maybe Connor Shanahan. I know I said Connor at 6,
mm,
and for me,
no.
it's like those guys are tough.
Yeah, I think he's making that car only better. Seems like he's getting like the dude is. I'm not gonna say that. I was gonna say something out of pocket. I'm not gonna. I'll stay contained a little
Phil
bit.
Phil Sivia makes a point. Phil makes a good point. He's like, if Nitto is still winning, why bother changing it?
Well, you got to remember it was with Frederick Osbo, Ryan Turk, and James Dean. That's like three of the best. Of
Right.
course, they're gonna win the championship every freaking year. Then you take two of them out, and then you just got James Dean. It's like, well, now Kenda's winning it. What do you call it? Yeah, LZ. It
Incorrect. Adam
seems
ran
like,
Viator last year, by the way, guys.
yeah,
Phil was
he did.
asking. Yep. So he ran Viator. Viator is not in FD anymore, which is a
Yeah,
bummer because they were a sneaky good tire.
they were. Yeah, very sticky. I heard rumors that they snuck around the DOT stuff, but we won't get into that. I think Adam, like, he's so focused on what he does. Like, when he did BMX, like, I've heard stories where people would meet him at, like, a skate park. Like, there's a buddy I know that lives in Georgia here. He met him at a local skate park here when they had something going on, and he would just do trick after trick after trick and like nail it down until his elbows were like bleeding to a
Right.
point of it being painful. And it's the same with his driving. Like when he practices at his compound, or I assume now on the sim, it's like he just does it and does it and does it until it's perfect. And then he does it more. So it's so consistent that it's good. He
Mm-hmm.
has more of an understanding on suspension. He's always learning and absorbing things about cars. He's super nerdy about it,
Yeah.
like he's running like in his Instagram post today. It said he was running single way BCs, which
In his pro
questionable
car?
for Long Beach. My thought immediately goes to, well, he already has a great relationship with BCs. He could just run different spec BCs for every round, like that's definitely a possibility. Um, so I think he will be top 5. I think they're just making improvements to that 36. He's always like improving as a driver and trying to be better. He has the time, the money, and the drive for it. So I think he'll be top 5 for sure. And he's not doing Drift Masters.
Mm-hmm.
So everything will be in FD. I think top 5 and hot take, he'll be a championship contender this year for sure.
I'm sticking with top 5. I just it's tough to put him at the championship contender level for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely around the 5 range is where I'm seeing at the end of the year for him. But you know, I'm all for it. Like the dude's won me over. Obviously, you know, a big YouTuber comes in FD, you're like, okay, great, whatever. But like, the dude's got the passion for it. He put the work in. Like, there's no taking away his top 5 last year.
Yeah.
You know, he's won a round in FD. Like, he's there. You know, so he's a guy that's going to compete in the top 5. And it'll be interesting to see if it's actually a championship.
Yeah.
Next up, Hiroya Minoya or Minoa. I think blew past everyone's expectations from last year.
100%. 100%.
Like we knew the kid was good. We didn't know the kid was this good.
Yeah.
But the question is this good still legal?
Yeah.
Not necessarily legal, but is that going to be still rewarded in FD this year?
100%.
Because there was a lot of
controversy,
complaining, we'll say, from other drivers on some of the driving techniques he was using.
Yeah.
And now there's some rules about it. And it's like, do you have the exact rule, or do you know roughly what the rule was?
Like reading through it and paraphrasing it for now, it's when there is use and excessive use of the left foot brake that might throw off the chase driver. The judges will now take that into consideration and might ding you for it. But to play devil's advocate, I do feel like how Hiroya does it, he's not super slow. He's slow, but he's not like crawling, and he's not inconsistent with how slow he is. Like I spotted for Chris Forsberg in Jersey last year, Hiroya and Kazuya were both the slowest drivers every single run, right? They always did it. They always left foot brake in the same spot. They always did it. They weren't slowing down dramatically, like brake checking anyone. They were just slow. And I feel like that's kind of, you know, the spotter of every driver's job to take notes on people and be like, hey, we're going against Hiroya. We need to take some grip out of the car or put some pressure in the rear so we could stay behind him, you know, and put it in his door.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. But I do think maybe at some rounds this year it does, you know, that rule comes into effect and it dings him. So I'll say for Hiroya, I'll say a comfortable top 10, and we'll see what happens.
I agree. And he's the guy that I have out of my top 5 that I'm replacing with Matt Field, basically.
Okay.
And that's kind of who I'm got penciled in replacing Minoa. I'm still sticking with Adam at 5. But Connor Shanahan's pretty close for me in interchanging those two. But yeah, so that's kind of what my thinking was, and I think Roya is back at like 7, 8, 9 range. I think I don't think he's going to get the grace this year on some of the things he was doing, and I think he's going to. I think it might cost him a battle or two this year.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. Like I said, kid's amazing. I'm curious to see how quickly he tries to counteract his driving, though, to appease judges.
Yeah.
I
agree.
So, definitely still an amazing driver, regardless. Let's say that the judges really don't take into account that much this year. They might put it in the rule book, but not really enforce it much. Then, Hiroya is probably in the top 5.
Yeah.
You know. So there's that. And this is a lot of depending on the judges if they're going to call out what we think they're going to call out or not, you know.
Yeah. And no hate, but last year definitely was like, depending on the day, how they
I mean, I had
judged. So
probably half the field complain to me about him.
yeah, yeah, it wasn't. Seems better this year. They got two people that are different that are now permanent judges. I'll let FD
Announce
talk
that.
about it,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah,
It'll be interesting. But
yeah,
yeah, so let's get into the top 3 from last year. And newsflash, they're my top 3 for this year.
yep, same.
like like the one guy that I might interchange in there might be Matt Field over Frederick Osbo, because Frederick Osbo's on a new tire,
Yeah,
and that always comes with changes. So maybe I have Frederick Osbo at 4 and Field at 3.
yeah,
But that might be the only change I would be making here. Frederick Osbo is Frederick Osbo. There's no introduction you need for him. He's one of the best drivers in the world. He's the guy that I watch, and I watch him get into tricky scenarios, and I'm like, how in the world did you save that? I'll watch him like put it way into the wall. You see the front end going, but then it doesn't go in. I'm like, how did you
yeah,
do that? Or scenario where he's like really close and the other driver's clearly going to be doing something terrible in very soon nature, and somehow he finds a way to get out of it.
yeah,
Like, he's one of the most skilled drivers watching him, because he's the guy that does the most things where I'm like, how the hell did you do that? He just does magical things with the car, and there's a reason he's is it 3 times he's won it?
yep.
3-time champ. There's a
3 of
reason for
them.
that. It's because he's one of the
Yep,
best drivers in the world, and he will always be a contention for the championship every year. And there's
100%.
just no way to not have him in your top 3.
Yeah,
I don't-
I genuinely think
although I
that.
just kind of had him in my top 4, but it's
Yeah,
beside the point.
I think he'll 100% be top 3 championship contender.
Yeah,
Though those I have a very very strong feeling those new tires will do him wonderfully because
which is
they
crazy,
just
because
work,
can you
you
imagine
know?
2 years ago saying this, that they're switching to Kenda?
Yeah.
Everyone would have been like, what?
Man, what? Yeah, those man, those it's night and day from the KR20s to what they are now. It's insane.
Yeah.
Um yeah, that's why, you know, I think they that he won't struggle too much on him. We'll just say that. I think he'll do just fine for sure.
Gotcha. All right. All right. Frederick Osbo, I like where he's at. The Odia Bachis. The guy that I am having at number 1.
Really? Whoa. Whoa.
He's not running a 2-man team. He's got his engine figured out. He's driving Simon's chassis. He's the guy to beat for me this year.
I do think it's his championship to lose this year, for sure.
I think he is a guy on a mission, and there is no more excuses.
I think I think he would be the like that's pretty cool that he won type of thing, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
shed a little tear that he won. But if I had to put my money on it, I think James Dean's winning the championship. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I mean, let's
But
be honest here. You never bet against James Dean. That's just a rule in betting. You don't.
yeah.
But for me, I have Odie Bachis at 1, James Dean at 2, and it sounds insane saying that, but
Yeah.
I just got a feeling. You know,
I want to have that feel like my now it's the opposite. My gut's saying OD won, but my brain's saying James Dean's gonna be James Dean and
yeah, right.
be at number 1 again.
Exactly.
It just I think it'll be super close this year. I think OD as like a program and a driver will be so dialed in. But like
I like
James is
Phil's comment
equally
here.
as dialed in.
I like Phil's comment. He's like, the only excuse Odie has is James Dean.
Yeah. It's like I expect that like I wouldn't be surprised if like 4 out of the 8 rounds this year, it's Odie and James in the finals. And it's gonna be a bloodbath every time, you know?
You know, what kind of turned me on to Odie was watching his last 2 rounds,
Yeah.
where he
No, yeah.
showed he can outdrive James Dean if he wants to.
Yeah.
He shows he has
Okay,
the better
Utah.
setup car, the faster car. He can do it.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to do it this year.
I mean, he just honestly he has it where he could put it together. He's won Long Beach multiple times. He's won Atlanta. Don't know if he's won Orlando. Hasn't won at Englishtown. Don't know if he's won at St. Louis. Won Seattle. Won Utah. Won Irwindale. So it's like first two, last three. Like he has all the
That's a
cards in his
championship winning
favor.
season right there, right?
Yeah, he has the cards in his favor to win 5 out of the 8 rounds this year. Will he? I don't know. Maybe.
And here's my thing with James Dean. Obviously the best drifter of all time. I don't even think that's a question. I don't even know how you would argue against that.
Yeah.
And obviously the betting favorite for the year. Of course, you know, who's going to bet against James Dean? But
Yeah.
the thing I always thought was really interesting was look at how many car problems Ben Hobson had last year.
Yeah.
And magically, I mean, James blew his nitrous system up practicing at Long Beach
Yeah.
on
And
media
his
day.
car caught on fire.
How
But
lucky do you have to get to where, like, and the crazy thing is he went through like 3 or 4 diffs at Irwindale, but it didn't matter because he'd already won the championship.
yeah. And
What if that happened
you
at any other round?
you also got to realize that that RTR is incredibly unreliable. But you got 12 dudes and girls and a couple $1 million to throw into the program, and you got yourself a car that will always be ready to go when come battle. I don't think Hobson's side of the team.
But
I don't
what's the
know, but
likelihood that
like,
all 8 rounds that incredibly unreliable car doesn't mess up one battle, even an
I don't
early
know.
battle?
It seems like the only battle that he messed up last year that he put a foot wrong with car issues was maybe Seattle. I don't even know if it was there, but like
Right.
it just seems like no matter what, as long as the car has nitrous, not even if it has nitrous, if the car can run and it's not misfiring and breaking down halfway down the straight, he'll be fine, you know?
Yeah.
And back to Odie, I do think Odie has what it takes to put it together. It's just putting every other thing together. Like I'm looking at the past season stuff like on my computer right
Yeah.
now. His 2021 season was so freaking impressive. Atlanta, win. Orlando, third. Englishtown, 16. Erie, third. Monroe, 32. St. Louis, 8. Long Beach, Irwindale wins. So we won 3 rounds and podiumed at 5, but he only got third in the championship because you just got to have the whole season tying together, you know? So
Yeah. No,
it's
I agree.
interesting.
I I don't think James is going to get that lucky this year. I think something's going to happen
Yeah.
at
Maybe
least one
his
round, if
luck's
not
run
two.
out.
I think something's going to happen, and in an unopportune time, where they're not able to fix it, and I think that's what's gonna open the door.
Maybe so. I don't know. I think James is just so good of a driver that as long like he's used to that car now,
Mm-hmm.
and now he's going to be driving it twice as much in Europe, and like car breaks,
No,
they
like,
have the resources to
oh
fix
yeah,
it. That's all
100%.
I'm saying. You know.
So it's gonna be such a crazy fight this year, and I'm hopeful that someone else pops in there and like makes some noise, like a Matt Field, Connor Shanahan, one of these guys is gonna pop in and start maybe a Brandon Sorensen, something like that,
Yeah.
and start really, pushing some of these guys to pass their limits.
Yeah.
And
I
that.
think there's like 10 people who could like
Oh yeah,
win a round this year.
oh yeah,
Like
10
every
people
round.
easily, and I think probably 7 or 8 of them can make an attempt, especially if James has a carb troubled season,
Yeah.
which keep in mind he has he how many years did it take him to win the championship in the RTR? It was 3, 2.
Two.
Gotcha.
First year.
Denofa won.
No cigar. Second year, wins it by a landslide.
Yep.
So
Yeah, so we'll see definitely this year how it all plays out, but kind of want to get to my last couple questions here before we set up, because we are already almost at 2 hours, which is insane.
wow, so much yapping.
I know,
Crazy.
dude. All right, real quick, rookie of the year, who do you got? You got 4
Jack
choices.
Shanahan.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to go against Jack Shanahan on this one, just from driver pedigree. If there's anyone that's gonna compete with him, it's probably Connor O'Sully, but
Yeah.
it's probably Jack Shanahan. That's probably
Yeah.
an easier one. Most improved. Who do you think is jumping up from the standings here? From what it sounded like for you, it was Ryan Littoral.
Yeah, Radical Daniel or Ryan Littoral.
I was going to
my
say
pick.
Rad Dan, I think, is the guy for me that's making the big jump. Also, Nick Novak down here, I think, is also going to probably make a big jump as well.
Yeah.
Those are kind of my 2 guys right now.
Yep.
First time winner and first time podium getter. So for me, my first time winner is going to be Brandon Sorensen.
Okay. My first time winner is going to be Adam LZ. Nope, he already won one.
I was going to say he's already won.
He already won. Hiroya. He's going to win something.
That's a good choice, yeah.
Yep.
And then first time podium, you said Hurst. I'm gonna.
I don't. Yeah, I'll go with Hurst. I'll say Hurst.
I like Hurst. I'm just kind of looking at the list. Rome's podium.
Maybe the Literal.
Literal's kind of podium in the past.
Non-pro.
No?
I don't think so. No.
I'll say Jeff Jones.
He got third.
No, that's right. He did.
Year.
That's right. I forgot.
Or
That was a
3
big deal.
years ago or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I think Hurst is the right answer for that.
Hurst.
He's
I think Hurst or Literal.
yeah, because Novak's got to win.
Jack Shanahan.
Oh, there you go. That's an easy one.
There you go. We'll go with that one.
Jack Shanahan. Oh man, that was fun. All right, guys, we had almost 50 people in here at one point. Maybe I shouldn't be bringing on guests. Maybe we should just start talking shit about everybody, and then the people will show up.
Yeah, man.
Oh man, guys. But yeah, that was a lot of fun, guys. If you guys have who you think's gonna win or disagree, let me know in the comments below. Because I feel like we had a couple hot takes in there. We had a lot of pretty cold takes as well. But again, I'm just excited for the season, and I really hope we have a full top 32. Pretty please. Somebody, just by some magic, get all the cars to Long Beach.
Please.
Because I think it's bad for the series when we don't. So
yeah.
And no, Daigo is not a rookie because he has run FD before and won it.
He won a championship.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So
Yep.
Daigo again is going to be. He might be one of the big wild cards, but I don't think he's going to be as big of a factor as people think he will be. So, again, thank you all for watching. If you want sim stuff, where should they go check out, Brandon?
Ooh, they should go to boundlessracing.com.
That's where you send all your complaints for this episode is Boundless Racing.
true. We got a contact form. You could fill it out. Go ahead. I'll blast them all. Every complaint you send to me, I'll send it 10 times to Nate. So that sounds like a great deal.
But yeah, no, dude, it's been a fun one. Again, thank you guys all in the chat. If you guys want to subscribe, that's always appreciated. And I think that's all we got. Show next Tuesday, probably not, because I will be over in Long Beach and I have no idea what we're going to be doing Tuesday. But good chance we'll be doing some fun stuff on Wednesday. But I can't promise anything yet because I'm not over there, and I fly over to Long Beach on Monday. So it's going to be a fun, long week. And
Yeah,
obviously
don't forget
we'll
about
be
Thursday.
live.
You guys
Yeah.
got a show on Thursday.
Oh yeah, and then we'll be live with the actual practice as well, which is what everyone loves to see.
I love those.
Yeah. So it's going to be a good time this weekend. I'm super excited for Long Beach and excited to see all my friends out there. But that is going to end this show for today.